Most leadership failures I see don't happen because of bad strategy. Happen because somebody, often a very smart somebody, violates one of these two rules. My rules three or four. Rule three, always know your audience. Rule four, it's a joke, but it's true. You are not your audience. These two concepts are where deals stall, where teams unravel, marriages get weird, even parenting breaks down. And here's the mind gremlin. No one thinks they're screwing up. Let's get into rule number three a little bit more. Always know your audience. Back to business leadership is empathy at scale. What is communication? It doesn't matter how clear you are. If you don't know how they listen, you're not being heard. At best, you're just talking louder. It's called broadcasting. Here's a quick story. This is my true story. I was in college and I was a student body treasurer, and I was at odds with the VP all the time, constant tension. I liked him, Drew. I respected him. We couldn't communicate. Eventually, our leadership coach had us do a Myers Briggs. Turns out he was deeply introverted, and I was, it's not a shocker, extroverted. What I saw as getting no feedback from him was actually him listening, just processing slowly. So, what do naturally? I double down. I talk more. I talk louder. I use my hands. I'm frustrated with him. And then 2 days later, he'd respond with a long, thoughtful email. To me, that was like, well, this isn't a conversation. What's the point of even talking to this guy? He just didn't say anything and then came up with a whole bunch of edicts. What was our real problem? We were both trying, we just didn't know our audience. Once we learned we were introverted and extroverted, we had to learn how to adjust and speak to the other person clearly, and then everything worked out. Here's a simple exercise for you on rule number three. In any high stakes decision, I do this usually with negotiation strategy, I draw a landscape of everyone affected. And I write down who's involved, what do they care about, whether I think they're introverted or extroverted, what pressures they're under, and if they're an analytical or storytelling listener. That's not a lot. It's all my gut instinct. But here's the deal. By doing that, I'm not engaging in therapy. It's empathy. With this empathy, it lets me speak their language, not mine. I become a clearer communicator. I do this with every CEO when we get involved in a large negotiation. Now let's move to rule number four, the kind of funny one, but not really because it's about you. And this is what I can say about you. You are not the audience. If you're the audience, you might as well be a person sitting in your own office talking to a camera, sort of. This rule is where smart, confident people lose deals they should have won, and I see it over and over again. See, here's something our brains do. We assume if it works for me, it must work for them. If I respond well to this, they'll respond. If the logic lands on me, they'll buy in. Wrong. Stop. You are not your audience. Even if you have powers of persuasion and charisma, and especially, and this is the hard one, even if you're right. If you're treating yourself like the audience, you're already done. My quick founder story is a very common one. Analytical engineering founder. He knew everything about his company. He knew the infrastructure. He knew the unit economics. He knew everything that was going on. And he would always come into every pitch with a strategic partner who was about branding and go-to-market strategy. And he would talk technical to them over and over and over. Finally, I said, is this what they care about? You're talking like you're pitching yourself, because when he pitches himself, when he pitched his venture capitalist, and when he pitched his team, it always worked to pitch the analytical side. But I said, these people, their job is to take your story and with their company, engage in branding so that you can both go get sales together. It's a different audience. We took his pitch down to the studs. We said, what are the important things to communicate to them? Basic information. How do we communicate it to them as the audience? And you are not them. Once we did this, and here's the, of course, incredible, it was the same product, it was the same founder, but a profoundly different result. These two rules, of course, go together. Rule 3 says, know them deeply. Rule 4 says, stop projecting yourself onto them. Also, back with rules 1 and 2. Rules 1 and 2 are about clarity and alignment. Rules 3 and 4 are about connection and traction. Without those, you can be right and still lose. So, to reiterate, your job isn't just to be clear. Your job is to be heard. And to do that, you have to remember you're not talking to yourself, you're talking to them. Thank you everybody for watching. And if you made it through all 4 rules, you've now become officially a little more dangerous than you used to be in the best way possible.